Okay, so why don't we do a talkie, Tom? What do you say?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do. You want to do Dave Daubenmire?
Let's do Dave. We haven't had Dave on in a while.
All right, so guys, this is. Hold on, we got to do it the other way. So Tom's got to say this is Coach. So go ahead.
So this is Coach.
Doc Coach.
Not a coach. Daubenmire.
He says, communist Muslim freak Barack Obama must go to jail. So that's a mouthful. Here we go. This is the coach. Here we go. We're going to play the coach for you. I'm going to skip in a little bit, too, because it's like 10 seconds of fucking disclaimers that they don't have anything to do with this.
Barack Obama must go to jail. He must go to jail. And, we started with Hillary and all that kind of stuff. Now as I begin,
what does that even mean? We started with Hillary and all that kind of stuff. What is she? We tried to smear. What are we talking about here?
We started trying to smear people, and that didn't take because it turns out you have to do something wrong. So we're gonna punt and go ahead and find something to pin on Obama. I love
it's Obamagate.
I love when the reporter asked Trump recently, like, "What is Obamagate? What specific crimes are you referring to?" And his answer was Obamagate. You know what it is? It's so bad you won't believe how bad. Obamagate. Did you see this clip?
I did see it. I
don't think I'm paraphrasing too much.
No, you're not. You're not that far off the mark.
Yeah,
you're not that far off the mark. His answer was, you know what it is. It's like when you're mad at your kid and your kid says, "What did I do?" You say, "You know what you did."
You know what you did, you son of a bitch.
You know what you did, and then you hit him over and over and over. Yeah.
You were born and I never wanted you. Wait, never mind. What?
Every parent says that. Come on. All right, let's play more, Dave.
To dig in deeper and deeper and deeper to see what's going on. First of all, let there be no doubt. Okay, listen, there is no doubt. We can have a trial. There's no doubt that Barack Obama knew what was being done to Donald Trump. He knew it.
He knew what was being done to Donald Trump.
Well, he was being investigated by the FBI, I guess, is what they're trying to say.
So what?
Yeah.
He knew what was being done. Like, nothing illegal was done to Donald Trump. What? He was investigated, and then he was not convicted or pursued, or like no criminal charges were ever filed against Trump.
Yeah, and then Flynn literally did lie to the FBI. Like, that's not up for debate. He did lie to the FBI. He's guilty of lying to the FBI. He pled guilty.
Yeah, pled guilty. He's like, yeah, I fucking did that. FBI. I would like to, yeah.
Regardless of whether or not, whatever else happened, he definitely lied. He 100% did. So, I don't know what they're all up in arms about here, because they're up in arms because there's a way to deflect from the coronavirus stuff. That's why they're up in arms, because there's a way to shift the blame from us fucking up so hard on this that we can shift the blame to something else.
Yep. And it turns out, like, you can lie to the FBI if you didn't like the questions.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
like,
that's it.
That's effectively what's being said. It's like you're allowed to lie to the FBI if the question doesn't fit your narrative.
Well, and wasn't something else that came out was that there was some notes or something that someone else had written ahead of time. One of the investigators had written ahead of time that said maybe we can get him to lie, and that it looks like it's unethical. And I thought to myself, I'm thinking I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the ins and outs on how that works, but don't they try to get people to commit crimes all the time? Don't police officers try to get people to commit crimes all the time? Like, for example,
you run into
a vice sting, like a vice sting, right? You were going to go get pussy anyway, right? Like, that's on you. And the same thing here, they're not putting the lies in his mouth. They're not telling him what he needs to say and not to say. He could have told the truth, right? It was always an option to tell the truth.
Yeah, I think like those notes, part of the problem with those notes is that, like, the right has taken them out of context.
Yeah.
And the context is really, and so you have to look at all the notes. If you look at the notes, you have to look at the entire body of the notes. And, like, when you read the entire body of the notes, like, all the stuff around it is basically like, if he's lying, here are the methods we would use as investigators to trap him and find out. That's what that's all driving at. But it doesn't presuppose that he's lying.
Right.
At all. And I think it would be problematic if the investigators went in with a predisposed attitude that somebody is lying to them. but like it is not bad to strategize how you're going to interrogate and investigate.
Sure.
Like that's
sure.
and that's all the notes reveal
Right.
is like somebody's thought process on how to do their fucking job. I
Yeah.
make notes all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's also like reading somebody's handwritten notes is not the same thing as like reading their entire work process.
Sure.
You know,
What was being done to Michael Flynn. Barack Obama knew it. We have the evidence. He knew it. The buck stops at the top. And if
Unless you're Donald Trump, then it doesn't stop at the top. Then everyone else is wrong and everybody else fucked up and it's all their fault and you don't take any it's none of it is your fault. Yeah, exactly.
he literally said like I don't take responsibility
for this. Yeah.
Like, yeah, somebody else did it. It wasn't me. I don't take responsibility for it. The buck stops at the top as long as you can't get it to stop somewhere further down.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you better stop that fucking buck before it comes up here.
Everybody's got one
I
of
don't
those.
want to see that goddamn buck.
Everybody's got one of those shuffleboard things, and they're just trying to push the buck back down and up and down and up and down. Go away! I don't want that thing.
Buck.
It
The
smells.
buck is like the fucking cheese touch. You just like cooties.
we think Comey and Clapper getting those little peons, if we think that's it, no. In order for justice to be restored to America, Barack Hussein Obama, the communist Muslim freak, must be put in.
Is
Are
he
there
a freak?
any
How do you know he's a
communist
freak?
Muslims?
How do you know he's a freak too? Maybe he likes to get busy only 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe it's not every day. You don't know. Maybe it's not 4 or 5 times a day. You don't know. You know
Maybe he's
a
straight
freak.
missionary.
Yeah.
Like
Could
maybe
be.
he's just like
Could
missionary
be.
lights off under the
Yeah.
covers.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Absolutely.
You have no idea. A communist Muslim. Name one communist Muslim, Cecil.
I can't. I don't know.
Oh, that turns out there aren't any.
I don't. Are there? I think we asked on the show before. Is there any country out there that is both communist and Muslim? And there's not a lot of communist countries left.
Yeah, there's no communist Muslim countries.
Yeah.
There are no Muslim. Like Muslim wants to rule by Sharia, which is ruled by clerics. It's a theocracy. Theocracies
I
can't
guess
be
it
communist.
it would definitely not be an atheist communist. That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit. Right?
in
Do you have
jail.
an
He must
atheist
be-
religious organization?
Yeah.
What?
Must be put in jail. He must be put in
Hey,
jail.
coach.
That doesn't happen.
Coach.
There is no justice in America. The president of the United States destroyed Michael Flynn. He destroyed him. He destroyed Michael Flynn. That in itself, in my opinion, is hangable.
Hangable.
Black guy destroyed a white guy. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying there. And also destroyed, but how? Nothing's happening to him. He had to
Right.
resign. He resigned on his own, right? He resigned on his own, and then nothing happened to him after that. What happened? Point to something bad that's happened to Flynn.
Well, he pled guilty to a major crime.
Well, now he's fucking out, and he's fine, and they're going to fucking overturn it. So now
Right.
what?
Yep.
Okay. How did he ruin him? Point to all the ruined parts on him.
Yep.
Where are they at?
Well, the thing is, Cecil, when you admit that you did something wrong, if later someone else can point out that you maybe didn't. I mean,
Oh.
to be fair, though, lots of people, to be fair, we've talked about like miscarriages of justice in the past where people have admitted to crimes that they did not commit.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
So
yeah.
like, I do want to say, like, just admitting to a crime does not necessarily mean that you're guilty of that crime. Like, you could see the cards are stacked up against you and that a plea will get you less time. And,
most
so
of the time
I do want to say that.
Yeah, but
Like,
most of the time you're talking about people without means to afford good lawyers. You're
Oh,
talking about, you know what I
absolutely.
mean? This
Yeah.
is not a guy who doesn't have access to the very best legal services in the world, right?
Right.
So I have very little, how many of the richest people in America is that going to be a problem for? How many of those people are going to cop to something if they have a lawyer sitting next to them? It's
Right.
not many, right? That happens in some, in some back room of a fucking jail somewhere where they've, held you against your will for hours and hours and hours. And, they finally say you'll be able to get free if you just say yes. That's a totally different story than what happened to Michael Flynn, where he's, got the best legal team he could possibly imagine money could buy.
Absolutely. And it's also like remember Michael Flynn was just one cog in
Oh yeah.
in like 30 indictments or some shit,
Yeah.
and like however, so like he's just one piece of a much larger puzzle full of people who all went to fucking prison.
Yeah. And you hear how Dave's talking about this. You could just feel the racist undertones in this, where he's talking about hanging a black man. He's talking about ruining the life of a white man. You could just feel it in how he's talking about this. There's a lot of racial undertones in this. Because he's
from Dave Daubenmire. How dare
bag.
you, sir? How dare you?
Absolute dirtbag. All right, let's go back to chat. Look at chat for a minute.
All right.
How's everybody doing tonight? We doing good? I'm just sitting here being morbidly obese, morbidly obese.
This is my quarantine body. Thank you.
Morbidly obese. It's not an insult. Morbidly obese is not an insult.
It's perfectly fine if it comes from Nancy Pelosi.
It's a 100% medical condition that I have no control over.
If it's fucking true, it's true.
Feed me, Seymour. That's all I'm saying.
Feed me, Seymour. Somebody says I'm eating slices of American cheese. That's the saddest thing anyone's ever typed. Someone else is headed up to Michigan. God, I hope you don't have to go up to where those up above Detroit, where the crazy flooding is at. That's nuts up there. So.
Has anybody got the COVID? Anybody had the COVID in our chat? Anybody got sick that actually had it? And if you did, was it 5Gs that gave it to you? Was that what would happen?
It's always the
It's either 5Gs or Bill Gates. I got it from Windows. Windows gave me cancer.